Answer is, de Gaulle would have said, you must preserve your economic independence. If it cannot be done at the macro level, because those who rule over you are puppets of the Zionist world, then what you have to do is look for micro solutions. And a micro solution will be to get out of Paris. Leave Paris to the Zionists. Get out of the cities. Leave the cities to the Zionists. Let them wash their own dirty clothing. And go into the remote countryside. Disperse. Do not remain in big communities. No. Try to establish small communities and make these small communities self-sufficient in food production. Oh, the rulers of the world are going to grind their teeth in absolute anger and frustration because you're going to be getting out of their grip. They want you in Paris because they know you can't produce your own food in Paris. They want you in Paris because they can control a large group. But when you leave Paris and you go out into the remote countryside and you are in small communities, hundreds and thousands and millions of small communities, they can't digest their food anymore. They are so frustrated because they can't deal with a million small communities. And in these small communities, you plant your own food and you become self-sufficient. And don't eat genetically modified food. Provide your children with pure food, and pure milk and pure meat. That is my answer to the French farmer. Question number 3. In France, we have suicides because of economic despair and various aggressions. The country is getting more and more bitter because of massive layoffs. Can you speak of a pound of flesh taken from the people? Why is it so? Oh, yes, of course. Agriculture is not going to be allowed to remain independent. The banker wants to take his pound of flesh even from the farmer, because the banker wants to control the world. The bank wants to control the world, including the economy, including agriculture. The first lesson you must learn, if you are to respond successfully, is to never, never, never borrow money on interest. Never do that. If you cannot get a loan which is a charitable loan, then get a business loan, but must be without interest. If you have a loan without interest and you cannot repay the loan, then of course there's something like bankruptcy, and you will be seized, or your property will be seized and so on, to pay off the loan. But when you take a loan on interest, and when it is compound interest, you sign your debt warrant. That's what they did in Latin America. They would lend money to the Indian peasants, and when they could not repay, then they had to repay with labor. So they didn't have slavery, they had a different form of slavery. The enslavement of the masses through usury. The Quran has prohibited usury. It was also in the Bible, but someone rewrote the Bible to say that it is prohibited for an Israelite to lend money on interest to another Israelite. Don't do that. Don't rip off your own brother. But the new version of the Word of God, written by human hands, is that it is permissible for you to lend money on interest to those who are not Israelites. No. That's false. And the Quran denounces it as false. This permission given in the Bible to lend money on interest to those who are not Israelites. Don't rip off your own brother, but you can rip off others. No, that's double standards. So we say to the farmer, do not borrow money on interest, number 1. Number 2, try to always remain out of debt. Number three, if you have the means to help your brother to get out of debt, that's the best gift you can give to him. Don't buy a gift for him for Christmas, no. The best gift you can give to your brother is to help him to get out of debt. The Zionist who rules the world today would be very angry with you because he does not want to have people who are independent of debts, who don't have debts, who are therefore free. And so my answer is to stay out of debt. And most of all, stay out of usury or riba.